Hey everyone, Shaedow here, and welcome to another Marvel Contest of Champions video. So in this video, we're going through Ultron's Assault, the variant difficulty. We're on Chapter 2, and this is the first quest. So I go in here, and you'll see the path that I decided to take in a moment, but I was actually saving up these boosts just to deal with this difficulty. You don't need to boost up, but boosting up, if you have them, certainly helps. And the path that I'm going to take is the one off to the right, and I believe it's the power gain. So I definitely wanted to get them down as fast as possible. All right, so you have fisticuffs and spite. That was it. Not power gain, but fisticuffs and spite. So I have to play around in the beginning, not able to buff or debuff. And with spite, they're going to gain power. Not a fun node to deal with, but not too terribly bad once you get used to it. So first up, as you can see, we're fighting Groot. And I love fighting Groot with Dr. Voodoo. It is just so much fun. In fact, it's so much fun, it should be criminal. But with that spite, things can get a little bit more dicey. So I got lucky there. He didn't make it to his L3, and I took the L2, but I was happy to do that because I would rather take his L2 than his L3. But this is what I have to deal with spite. But it is what it is. Fortunately, it doesn't do a lot of damage, and as you can see there, I can evade it. And once I was able to get to Dr. Voodoo's special 2 on an even combo, that's when I can actually do the power control. And now the fight is under my control, and down goes Groot. So not a tough fight. It could have been a lot worse, but that was my main strategy. Get to Dr. Voodoo's special 2, hit him on an even combo, and then just get him down. Next up, we've got Wasp. Now, Wasp can wreck you if you do not understand how she works. In fact, 9 times out of 10, if you don't know how she works, you're going to go down. So what you want to do is stun her or bait out her heavy attacks or her specials. Now, don't ask me what happened there. Don't know. All I was trying to do was bait her out. And you'll notice that when you bait out her heavy or her special attack or anything like that, she gets this timer. While she has that timer going, the cooldown timer, she cannot evade. So that's when you want to unload on her. Ooh, that sounded bad. But in any case, if she doesn't have that cooldown timer, then what you want to do is parry, do like a 3-hit combo, back off, and then do it over and over again. So we were able to get her down. She still got some good licks in. She does a lot of damage, but she has a little bit of health. All right, so next up, we've got Abomination. But I have Nebula, who is double immune. Now, all I'm doing with Nebula, and I know there's other ways to play her, but I almost feel obligated to play her this way. I don't know why. But I'm trying to build up her charges, get up to 20 if I can, which is the max, and then fire off her special 2, which usually will end the fight. And if it doesn't end the fight, it'll come very close to it. So you saw there I shocked, which I didn't actually mean to do. But that's what happens a lot of times when you're playing Nebula. Especially if I'm trying to evade back and I'm just a little bit too slow, it'll end up parrying them instead. So back again to trying to build up those poise charges. But at the same time, Spite is in effect, and so he's gaining power. But you can see I'm almost up to my special 2. So I'm just building up those static charges, and now I just need him to fire a special 2. He did. And now I just need to get a parry in. Boom, got the parry. Get a few licks in. Fire off the L2. And look at that damage. And I'm just laying into him. It wasn't enough to actually take him out, but the fight is pretty much over at this point. I can just basic attack him and take him down. So don't ask me what I was waiting for here. I wasn't really paying attention to his health bar. So I went back to my old strategy, which I did not need to do. So it happens, especially with these kinds of fights in here. I'll get that hyper focus going, not really paying attention to the health bar. And then later on, I'll be like, huh, why in the world didn't I just finish him off there? Oh well. Next up, we've got Yondu. Now, Yondu is fun to fight. He can cause a bleed through your block. And the other fun thing about Yondu is that you cannot parry his light attack. So you need him to dash at you, fire off his medium, then you can parry him. But the basic strategy in fighting Yondu is to bait out his special one. That's what I do. So this whole spite thing actually makes Yondu easier to fight, in my opinion. So as you see here, all I'm doing is baiting out his special one. That was an accidental parry. Now he got to his special two. And fortunately, Starkey was able to evade his special two. I don't know how to evade his special two manually. So Starkey has to do that for me because all I'm going to do is block it. And as you can see here, he's almost to his special two again. He got that power flood and he's back to his special two. But this time, I'm just going all in and I take him down. Yondu, he can be a pain, but if you know how to fight him, you can get him down without too much difficulty. And this spite, it does make things a little bit more fun. Alright, next up, we've got Magneto. Now, I have a problem, or at least I did have a problem at this time. I've actually corrected it since then. My problem was that I did not know how to evade his special two consistently. And so I was very nervous anytime he was at a special two. So I would try to bait out the special one, but of course, we're dealing with spite here. So if he was stingy with his special one, even a little bit, he's going to get to the special two. And I'm sitting here nervous. Right now, he's doing what I want him to do. Okay, so I'm baiting out, but now you see here, that power flood, boom. And down I went. Soon as he got to his special two, I went, oh crap. And I tried to evade, went too early, got it. So I'm like, all right, well, that's kind of what I expected to happen. So I apologize to Rocket Raccoon. He could have done the fight, but it was me. So now I come in with Star-Lord. Star-Lord can also do this fight, no problem. But the main problem is me. Now, if I can just bait out his special ones, like I said before, this fight, not a problem. But at this time, trying to evade his special two consistently, because I've done it before, but I've never been able to do it consistently, it usually wrecks me. And as you see, you only get one try. You know, once he hits me with that special two like that, fight's over. So I was hoping for a power drain, didn't get it, boom. Same exact thing is what happened the last time with Rocket. Now, since this video, I have practiced that special two evading quite often. And you'll see it in later videos because I fight a drone that has Magneto's animations. And of course they only have 2 bars of power, so he gets to that special 2 a lot. And so I had to learn it or just get wrecked. So you guys will see that. So now we've got Starkey, who normally is not a great option because he gets magnetized, but he can still put out that damage, as you guys are seeing. So I still like to use Starkey against Magneto. I just know that I'm not going to be able to build up any poise charges consistently. You can still build up the poise charges, but with that magnetism on you, don't hold your breath to get any poise. Fortunately, Starkey can hit pretty hard anyway. So now we come to the first drone, and I bring in my Nebula. And I remember when I got her as a 6-star, you know, some people were like, oh, you know, but I'm like, no, Nebula is actually really good. And for this, there was no way I was not going to bring Nebula. So with Nebula, she can shut down robots' abilities. If she builds up enough of her shock charges, she will shut them down. They won't gain any power. They won't trigger their abilities. Nothing. And I forget how many charges she needs to build up to do that. But I still do the same basic strategy with Nebula. I still build them up, try to get to her L2, and you can see there, I messed up because I looked up to see how many shock charges I had. But look at Nebula's healing. Yes, I don't know if you knew that, but she has healing. And so I was able to fire off that special 2 with the shock charges, and look at his health just melting away. Love it. It didn't take him out, but it hurt him. He knows he was in a fight. And I was trying to build up again, but I needed to get some distance because I was up against the wall. And so at this point, I'm like, you know what? Let's just go and take him out. I'm not too worried about his special 2 at this point because I've practiced a little bit, but I still want to bait out his special 1 as much as possible. But you'll see, you know, I think he might get off a special 2 here. I'm actually not sure. But I just basically try to build up those shock charges again. And I'm just going in. Ooh, lucky. I did a little bit better there, but like I said, I've gotten better at evading his special 2 since I made this video. So that's that first drone down. And now we've got an ambush. And I'm sitting there going, really? I was looking forward to one more drone fight and then the boss. And here this guy comes. So, same thing, brought in Nebula, building up her shock charges. And, of course, that happens. And I don't know why that happens. I wasn't trying to parry or anything like that. Alright, but when I saw his animation here, I was like, okay, good. That's an easy animation to evade, even though I didn't do it there. And, again, I parried him, and I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and, you know, do a full combo and get that special off on him, which does a power lock and a power drain based on how many shock charges you have. That affects the duration of the power lock. So I forget how many, how long it is if you have the max 20 shock charges built up, but it's a nice little utility to have, especially when you need a little power control. I don't know if a lot of people realize that she does have power control. And what you saw me do there, I'm making use of what they call the Nightcrawler trick, but it works with everyone. So when he dashed back, I fired off a light attack, which caused him to hold his block. But what that did for me was it allowed me to build up more shock charges without him constantly being aggressive and hitting into my block and, you know, causing me to have to evade and stop building up the shock charges. So just a little pro tip to use that, not just for the Nightcrawler, but you can use it in a variety of creative ways. All right, so now we've got this guy here, Dulled. Dulled is annoying. I remember Dulled from way back. I believe they introduced that to deal with Scarlet Witch, who was not only RNG but crit based. So with Dulled, that kind of kept her a little bit in check, not much. But it also hurt a lot of other people. Well, we're dealing with it here, and not too big of a deal. I'm not expecting to win this fight, and I didn't with Nebula there. What I wanted was to see his animations, and so now I know not to push him to his L2 because that's Electro's animation, and as much practice as I got fighting Magneto and evading his special 2, I haven't mastered evading Electro's yet. So what would end up happening is I would just block it. Now I came in with Starkey. I already know that I'm gonna revive him, but I wanted to bring him in here just to get some licks in because I wasn't gonna heal him up. I just wanted to use revives. I had a ton of revives. Revives were in my overflow. So I said, I'm not gonna heal up. I'm just gonna use some revives. As you can see there, plenty. And I still have 300 uncollected free crystals, and that's after at this point in time I've completed variant 1 time, and I've actually gone back and I'm working on fully exploring each chapter. But my basic strategy is to bait out that L1. That's really it. Build up the poise charges as much as possible, evade that special 1, which I was getting clipped by it, and I wasn't sure why, whether I was just evading a little slow, but I started ranging it a little bit better. Maybe I was a little too close when I was trying to evade it. But here, you see, he got to his special 2, but I was able to actually evade that one. So I was actually feeling pretty good about myself right there. And I'm just trying to build, do as much damage as possible. And here we go. And he does double damage. Look at that damage. Look at it. And it's over with. So Starkey, MVP, didn't need to heal him up. Just a little revive, and we're good. Now we come to the final boss. And this final boss, he's not really that bad, honestly. So he's got a special 2 that can't be blocked and a bias. He starts with 1 bar of power. And that backlash pulse, that is going to cause a little problem. So what backlash pulse is every time you trigger a buff, and that includes dexterity, you're going to suffer 25% of his attack, which hurts. And you're also going to get drained of power. So I went in here with Voodoo. You know Voodoo has buffs. He has a healing buff right away, and you see what it did to his health. And anytime I evade, I get that dexterity buff, which again will cause me to take a lot of damage. So what you want to do in this fight, first of all, you don't want to go into this fight with someone who has a lot of buffs or triggers a lot of buffs. And you want to fight him without evading. So Dorky Diggity Dave calls it a deep evade. You back up like you saw what I did just there. You can evade without triggering dexterity. It's not easy to do, and I don't do it very well. I need to practice. So what you see me doing here is just trying to do as much damage and just taking the blocks. So I just block his specials. And that's all I can do. So you saw right there, I backed up, took the damage, got power drained. Then I didn't have enough health to take the blocked hit on his special attack. But that's fine because that's exactly what I was planning on doing. Just chip him down. His health is going down nicely. And I don't mind if I need to use a revive or 2. Now, I did kind of get upset with that one because Starkey should auto-evade. That was one of the things that I was thinking of when I brought him into this fight. I was like, I won't have to evade because he'll evade. And even though I got the shock, I couldn't back up because I would have died. My health was too low. So I was trying to let the shock, tick down on him, but he went aggressive and attacked me. nothing I could really do there. All right, so I went ahead and revived Starkey up, and pretty much that is what we end up doing. We just keep going in, attack him without evading, rely on Starkey's auto evade. It didn't trigger there, but it is what it is. But we just try to take as many blocked attacks as possible. And you see there, I was able to get my special 2s, so he's going down, and I'm parrying as much as possible. And down he goes. Didn't take that many resources at all, so I'm happy with that. So that is the first quest of Chapter 2 down. Click like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this video. Hopefully it helped you guys out. And you guys have a blessed day.